This video is part of the GuitarU.com educational website. It is for guitar students studying songwriting and theory. This video is meant to review and solidify a few important concepts as we progress through the music theory course material. Those concepts are key, diatonic harmony, cadence, chord pattern, chord progression. First, a key is a scale and its associated harmonies. A song written in the key of C, like this one for example, would contain only chords taken from the key of C. Chords resonant in the key. The melody would contain only notes from the major scale, from the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. This is called diatonic harmony. It has a pleasing, right-on, harmonious, and correct sound. A cadence is that sound of resolution produced by switching chords, of rest and release, by arriving at a particular chord. For purposes of this video, that chord will be the one chord, the tonic chord. The two critical and most important cadences in the world of music are the plagal cadence and the authentic cadence. The most important one is probably the authentic cadence, or the 5 chord going to the 1 chord, G, cadencing to C. This 5 to 1 authentic cadence is known as the strongest chord change in the world of music. The game of theory and composition can be summed up or encapsulated by the 5 to 1 cadence. Obviously, the next most important and critical cadence in our musical world is the plagal cadence, or the 4 chord cadencing to the 1 chord. The plagal cadence is often called the Amen cadence, or the church cadence, because it is used as the musical backdrop for many hymns and church songs. In the key of C, it would be the F chord cadencing to or returning to the tonic or 1 major, C major. Cadences are short. When they are repeated over and over again, it is called a longer chord pattern, formed by repeating the shorter cadences, or even expanding on them, adding 1 or 2 more chords, and using these chord patterns as musical material when writing songs or doing arrangements. They can be sections or even entire songs. Studying chord patterns is great ear training and just great musical practice because knowing them is useful whether you are learning, writing, or arranging a song. Cadences and chord patterns involve at least 2 chords. There are really an awful lot of diatonically based chord patterns. In this video, we're just going to concentrate on the 2 most important ones. And that obviously is the plagal and the authentic cadences. The first example is meant to sound orchestral, but it is really just me on my MIDI keyboard playing C and G7 over and over again, cadencing as if it was an orchestra. But it is reminiscent of a lot of the classical music we've heard. In the next example, notice how a simple 1 to 5 chord sets up a nice funky groove, or a great musical setting that could be used for an entire section of a song or an arrangement. Interestingly, the same cadence has a great effect when the chord positions are reversed and a new chord pattern is arrived at. In this example, the 1-4 cadence creates a solemn and solid musical setting, sort of like You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones. Okay, so cadences are short. They're expanded or woven into longer chord patterns. As a musician, you will find 2-chord songs to be very interesting, as they contain only one cadence, and they do a nice job of encapsulating the game of music theory and composition. This example reminds me of the country classic Jambalaya by the great Hank Williams. Slight shift in chord positions, it becomes a cowboy song. This example reminds me of a famous one called Deep in the Heart of Texas. In this video, we learned how basic cadences are the short and sweet chord changes consisting usually only of 2 chords. Chord changes that produce a cadence and a feeling of rest and resolution can be expanded into larger chord patterns. These chord patterns serve as the source material for sections and even entire parts of musical compositions. Sometimes a rock or pop group will use only 1 or 2 chord patterns for the duration of their entire song. And finally, we took a look at some famous 2-chord songs. Not only do they serve to encapsulate the game of music theory and composition, but 2-chord songs remind us that surprisingly little music material can be used for great effect in a composition or song.